back to another live stream with the Bored Cyborg. And I, for whatever reason, cannot bring it up on my television, which is a pain in the ass. It's just not showing up. Not showing up. Well,
Get half off any menu price pizza at the one, the only Domino's.
When the temperature drops, America brings the heat with hot hands.
let's try that again. What's going on, guys? Alright, we're going to have to do the stream this way today, because I can't, for some reason, bring it up on my television. I usually bring it up on my television so I can monitor and so I could see the comments. The Bored Cyborg. Let me try it one more time. Oh, there it is. Well, it's working now. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to switch the camera angle here so things won't be all fucked up and in reverse. Let's make sure this works okay. Alright. Let's do that. Like so. Take a sip. Alright, that didn't work. So I need to go to my right. How about that? Alright, that looks good. Sorry about that, folks. There's always hiccups in the beginning. It wouldn't be a Bored Cyborg mic live stream without the hiccups in the beginning. So today I am going to relax and I'm going to show you off some of the pickups I got over the last week or so. The brunt of this came from today. I stopped at a Cause for Pause and found a ton of really cool VHS that I'm going to be bringing to the shop. A few that are worth quite a bit. I'm finding that, I'm learning a bit about VHS collecting. I'm finding that the later releases, like from 04, 05, tend to fetch a bit more than ones before it, especially from 04. I picked one up today that I'll show you guys, which reflects that. And sorry, guys. Alright, so before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's checking out this live stream. I hope you all are doing very well. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and all that. And feel free to hit that thumbs up if you enjoy my live streams. If you want to see more like this and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can be notified as to when I do go live. And I do it once a week at this point. I always tell myself I'm going to try to do 2, but man, I work too much and it's a little too difficult to do that. But let's jump right in. No rhyme or reason, we're just going to jump right in to the first thing I see here. I stopped at a video game shop, or I'm sorry, a pawn shop, and found some video games that were priced, for the most part, correctly, but they know me over there, so they hooked me up. And I got this little game, Mickey's Dangerous Chase, a Capcom Game Boy game here, exclusive to the Game Boy. It looked like a little platformer from what I could see, and it looks like a cute little Mickey game. I like the Mickey games, especially the ones by Capcom. And then, let's see, the rest of the games, all of these I got for 40 bucks. So the Mickey game and then these ones here. Now, these 3 are just kind of like fodder. They're not worth much, like 8 to 10 bucks. This one, though, is worth about 40 in the condition it's in. And it's in pretty good shape. It's got a few light scratches. It needs to be cleaned a little bit, but it's not too bad. And has the manual and everything. And this is Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond. So these Pokemon games, of course, always fetch a little bit. Then we got, here, let's see. We've got Bromantic 3-movie comedy collection, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. 3 comedy films that I really enjoy from the aughts that I rewatched recently, and I thought they all held up pretty well. In interesting ways, too. So this one will be going to the shop, because I already have those on blue. And a couple books. There's a bunch of everything here. I've been looking for a copy of The Godfather after rewatching The Godfather. And, you know, I've always loved The Godfather, but I really fell in love with the political power plays and, you know, the familial bonds and the cultural sort of malaise that afflicts the characters in the Godfather trilogy. And I really, really enjoyed it this time around. And so I saw this little paperback, pocket-sized paperback for like $1 or so, or 50 cents, and I picked it up. It's in perfect shape, no writing, nothing like that, and I'm actually going to read this. I'm about a quarter way through Catch-22 right now, which is a great satirical war novel, one of the funniest I've read. And Mario Puzo's Godfather is one that I'm definitely going to read after that, or soon. Because I want to see what the book is all about and see what kind of details are missed. This one I picked up because I used to have it as a kid, and it actually retains and presents some very cool old poems that I grew up with, like Casey at the Bat. Casey at the Bat was a big one in my family because my grandmother's maiden name was Casey, and so anyway, Casey at the Bat is a great little poem about a guy that's up to bat, playing baseball. This is the key. It's got a bunch of weird, like old school poems of the likes that kids in the 90s grew up with, 80s and 90s. So I'm gonna check that out. This made its way in there. I actually brought this over to a friend's house to watch, Jingle All the Way. That one's already in the collection. Here's a cool one, Fraggle Rock, complete first season. I found this at the Goodwill on DVD. And yeah, Fraggle Rock is a show that I've never really sat down and watched. I caught it growing up here and there. But after watching Labyrinth, and I noticed one of the puppets was in Jennifer Connelly's room, or the little boy's room. And I was like, you know what, I should watch some Fraggle Rock. Full of imagination, great music, all that kind of stuff. Late, I want to say early 80s, but the complete first season, and it's actually new and sealed, which is cool. So here we have a couple Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball, which is definitely more my speed. This is episode 1 through 13. This is the Saga of Goku, so the beginning of the Dragon Ball saga, which is a rendition of Odyssey to the West, the popular epic Chinese novel. With the monkey humanoid kind of character with the bow staff who goes around, and it's kind of like the Chinese Lord of the Rings in a lot of ways, and it's been adapted and emulated innumerable times. But yeah, Dragon Ball, the Saga of Goku, these aren't hard to find or anything, but I do want them in the collection because I like the original Dragon Ball. I'm just more partial to it. These were some of the cooler DVDs I came across. Unfortunately, it was missing Volume 4. I had never understand that. It's 1 through 3 here, and Volume 4 was nowhere to be found. And that is Xenosaga, the animation. This is the anime for Xenosaga. And Xenosaga is a JRPG, a Japanese role-playing game with turn-based combat, I believe. And I don't know much else about it besides that. Sorry, you know me, guys. I'm trying to get these fucking stickers off. These fudging stickers. But these were in perfect shape, and I think these are going to be something that I do enjoy. These are from the mid-aughts, so a little later for my usual anime sweet spot. But we'll give it a shot. And they're based on a game, so. This one I found at the Goodwill. Yesterday I got it for $1 because they didn't bother to check to see if there were more than one disc in it, which there are, the DVD, which I always hate paying for anyway. But this is Yesterday. This is Yesterday, directed by Danny Boyle. The reason I picked it up is because it's directed by Danny Boyle. Otherwise, I really would have no interest in a film like this. Music drama is not really my cup of tea. But because it's Danny Boyle and I want to see what he's been doing lately, over the last 10 years or so, I've neglected a lot of his films because he's leaned away from the genre films and more into the drama, which doesn't interest me as much, frankly. I know he just did 28 Years Later, which I definitely want to check out. This one's kind of cool. Bugs Bunny Lunar Tunes and Marvin the Martian Space Tunes. So this just compiles, 10 or 12 Looney Tunes shorts and presents them. And I probably own these in one capacity or another, but it's cool to see these kind of things out at the thrift stores, so I picked it up. It says, yeah, Marvin the Martian one is 84 minutes, but I doubt it's a feature. That would be interesting. I don't think it is. All right, next up we have the seminal classic Ghostbusters 2016, baby. This one I picked up for the store. It was 25 cents at the Salvation Army. I think somebody would buy this at the store. Those fools. This one I picked up. I've been looking for a copy of this since I sold my first edition. I had to sell my first edition of this when I was in dire need of some money to pay for rent years ago. You know, we've all been there. Not all of us, but most of us have been there. And this is a nice little pocket-sized paperback of The Never-Ending Story. And this is obviously got made into the 1983 film, Never-Ending Story. Never-Ending Story, la 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 la. Lucy says, is Yesterday the movie where the Beatles never existed and that one guy knows the songs and becomes famous? Oh, that sounds kind of interesting. That's almost fantastical. That's interesting. That's a cool concept, at least. Yeah, that must be it, Lucy. You sound like you know more about it than I do. Here we have, again, The Never-Ending Story by Michael Ende. I believe Michael Ende is a German writer, if I'm not mistaken. So this was translated from the German. And, yeah, I really want to read this. Translated by Ralph Mannheim. And, yeah, that sounds German to me. But, yeah, this is a book that I've always wanted to read. Like I said, I had the first edition, but I had to get rid of it at some point. This is one of the film, Spasms, and I knew as soon as I saw that cover, I knew I had to pick this up for $1 or whatever it was. So Spasms. Sorry guys, let me make sure. Yeah, we're off the Wi-Fi there. It's like glitching out a little bit. I'm sorry, folks. But yeah, Spasms. I'm gonna put this up on eBay and see if I can grab the Blu-ray. And oh, that reminds me, a couple things. In a few minutes, I have to check on my rice that's on the stove. And also, I wanted to provide a brief addendum, a satisfactory addendum to the Shudder 10th anniversary box set debacle that ensued last week, where I unboxed it and found, and some of my audience was informing me that one of the discs might not be the correct disc, and Late Night with the Devil had something like The Rule of Jenny Penn in it. After this, you won't even believe this, I reordered it, and they sent me an empty box with the replacement. There was nothing in it, so I got back on the horn, and I complained, and they refunded my money completely, so I bought a nice steelbook of Late Night with the Devil, and I made $30 back. So I got my Shudder 10th anniversary set for free, essentially. And so that was a happy ending to that frustrating story. And I have a copy of The Rule of Jenny Penn, which is kind of cool, because I hear that movie's pretty good. And John Lithgow's in it, and it seems like an interesting film. So anyway, yes, that is Spasms. To find horror on VHS is always a good thing. Here's a couple more that I found. Chasing Amy. You know, I'm going to take this plastic off of it, actually, because it's all, like, gross. But yes, Chasing Amy. A couple Be Kind Rewind stickers on it. The majority of these are going to the store. As you guys know, I'm not a VHS collector, except for the few VHS out there that never made their way to DVD or Blu-ray. And let's see. So we got Dr. No. I've been finding a bunch of these Bond VHSs in the wild. Dr. No, of course, the first Bond film. Here we have a cool one to find. Romeo is Bleeding. Not a very common film to find on DVD or VHS. Of course, I have it on Blu-ray, because I'm a maniac. I'm a maniac! Juliette Lewis, Gary Oldman, Lena Olin, and Annabella Sciorra. Bunch of beautiful women in this cast. Peter Medak directs this one with really great Mark Isham music. I used to have this on CD. I love the music to this film. Very jazzy. Very sumptuously jazzy. And Gary Oldman plays a crooked cop in this. And I don't remember much of the details. I remember it being a very atmospheric, very moody film. Let's see. That I did enjoy, but I didn't love. These three I got for $0.25 a pop, and I figure I could sell them as a lot. We have Three's Company Season 4, 5, and 6. I think I'll throw those on eBay for like $15, $20. Got them at $0.25, so. The Smurfs Season 1, Volume 1. I have this in the collection already, as I'm a bit of an old animation and anime cartoon collector. The Smurfs, I'm going to bring this to the shop. I think it'll sell at the shop. The Princess Bride, of course, the Rob Reiner classic fantasy film. A lot of these I don't have much to say because everybody knows these films, and I'm just basically bringing them to the shop. Here we have The Shootist. This is a sealed copy of The Shootist here, with John Wayne, a later John Wayne film from 1976. And I figured either I could sell this on eBay sealed for like $15, $20, not exactly sure how much it's going for, or bring it to the shop and it'll sell for a few bucks. And we have another John Wayne collection here. The Shootist, El Dorado, The Searchers, and the Sons of Katie Elder. So a good collection of John Wayne films here. I only buy these when they're released by a big studio, and I think this will sell at the shop. Sometimes we get, you know, some real North Carolinian older gentlemen who are not shy about their love for John Wayne, the American legend. Love him or hate him. I'm not a huge fan of John Wayne. Personally, I just don't think his movies are that great. Certain ones are, like The Searchers. I just don't think he was a great actor, and he didn't have too much presence. I'm not sure what people glommed onto. But it was a different time, different culture, of course. And here we have a beautiful, perfect copy of the classic The Day the Earth Stood Still, a fantastic science fiction movie, one of the best of all time, not just of the 50s. And it's directed by the great Robert Wise, who has such a diverse directorial filmography. The Day the Earth Stood Still, Audrey Rose, West Side Story, Star Trek the Motion Picture, The Haunting. This man just, The Setup, one of my favorites of his, a very brief 65-minute boxing film with Robert Ryan, which is just absolutely fantastic. Reminds me of Twilight Zone episode in a way, without the supernatural. But anyway, The Day the Earth Stood Still, that'll definitely be snagged up at the store. Copy of Willow! It's a Daikini, baby! You are great! Total Recall. This is one of my favorite Arnie movies of all time. And I adore this film. Paul Verhoeven. Incredible music by Jerry Goldsmith. Ron Botin does the special effects based on a Philip K. Dick novel, short story. We'll sell it for you wholesale, and I feel like that's close to what it's called. It's got a Black Magic, a Shaw Brothers horror movie. Very nice. Yeah, I have the new Shaw Brothers set, the big box set. That's like $115 right now in various places. I've got that on pre-order, and I believe Black Magic is in it. I sold off a lot of my horror 88 Films horror Blu-rays, like Hex, like Oily Maniac, like Super Inframan, and a lot of those are in this new box set, which I am buying myself as a Christmas gift. It comes out, I think, the 9th. So, Terminator Genesis, film I saw in theaters and didn't like, but bringing that to the store. Men in Black, the original. I think we have Men in Black 3 at the shop right now, so. Throw Mama from the Train, the classic dark comedy with Danny DeVito and Billy Crystal, as well as Anne Ramsey. Of course, the unforgettably... the woman, the actress with an unforgettable countenance, one of those faces that only a mother could love, you know what I mean? Just a very severe and stark look that she had. She was a very good character actor. She was in The Goonies. She was Mama Fratelli. Yeah, Black Magic is in the box set, so I'm looking forward to getting that next week. I'll be doing an unboxing of that. All right, next up we have Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, the first one, of course, on VHS, bringing that to the shop. Jawbreaker, which was fetching around $15 or so. So I'll decide whether or not this is going to the shop and getting priced up or going on eBay. Probably eBay for something like this, because this one, again, is fetching a bit. Jawbreaker. I can understand. It's a cult classic kind of film. Here's a cult classic film here. We're going to take it out of this really soiled and broken plastic case. Oh, no! Damn. This is Naked Lunch, guys, but I didn't notice that some heathen cretinous fool destroyed the box here. Like, I mean, destroyed the box. So I guess I might as well put it back in here. Jeez. Anyway, that's Naked Lunch. I figured this one would be worth some money, and it was a quarter, so I picked it up. David Cronenberg film, based on William S. Burroughs' works, where, I don't know, people like start turning it, or he thinks people are turning into like giant cockroaches, and it's a very strange film by David Cronenberg. Not one of my favorite of his, but I do have it on Criterion. Yo, Mr. Bob, what's going on? It's hanging high. I don't know. Trying to switch it up, but that doesn't even make any sense. I got another copy of Romeo's Bleeding in better condition, actually. I only meant to pick one of these up, but hey, that's all right. And here we have another one that's fetching a bit on eBay, so maybe I'll put this one up there too. That is Heavenly Creatures. It's a little damaged at the top there, but that's okay. The forgotten Peter Jackson film from the 90s. Really good film, a drama that follows sisters. One of them commits a murder, and it's just sort of them navigating it. Loss of innocence type of film. Great stuff. Spartacus. Spartacus is the great classic film about, slave revolution, led by Kirk Douglas's Spartacus, based on a real-life historical event, loosely based. The real story isn't as glorious, I would say, but there's still some glory to be had there. But yeah, Spartacus, Stanley Kubrick, 1960. This was a very controversial film at the time because of the director or the writer, Dalton Trumbo, who was on the blacklist in the 50s, the communist blacklist, where we disallowed communists from writing movies, which is bad. I think in the modern era, we disallow conservatively minded thinkers to. We kind of bar them, we kind of blacklist them, eschew them, in favor of people who want to, make the same movies that Hollywood always wants to produce. I don't fall on any sides. I'm just saying, I recognize a pattern when I see one. I think what was going on in the 50s has happened to people like James Woods and Mel Gibson, and yeah, maybe they have some nasty things to say sometimes with their words, but they should still be able to make movies. Kids film called Cars can go for quite a bit. Yeah, I've heard about Cars on VHS. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Here we have Revenge of the Sith. Going to the store. A couple books for myself here. A nice selection or collection of Jonathan Swift. Oh, it actually says selection. I thought it said collection. Selection could be bad. That could mean that they're taking bits and pieces from various books of his. But it does have Gulliver's Travels, A Tale of the Tub, and The Battle of the Books, A Modest Proposal. So yeah, so it's got some Jonathan Swift novels. I've not read any of his novels, so that one will be going in my collection. Here I have 3 copies of this at this point, but whenever I see it, I have to pick it up. That's William Gibson, one of the most influential novels I've ever read for me, personally. This is cyberpunk goodness, and it has one of the great opening lines of any novel. And this is the guy that basically created the language of cyberpunk through text in the realm of novels. The sky above the port was the color of television, tuned to a dead channel. Oh, I love that. Oh, paints such an image, doesn't it? Dystopian image. All right, here's one of the VHS that goes for quite a bit. That is Euro Trip with my girl, Michelle Trachtenberg. Rest in peace. I loved her in this movie. I had a huge crush on her. And this one goes for like 20 bucks or so. Maybe in the condition it's in, maybe a little less. I'm going to try to clean it up a bit. But yeah, this one's from 04 and fetches quite a bit on VHS. By far the most compared to its DVD and Blu-ray counterparts. I already brought one copy of Patton in, and it sold immediately. So I'm going to try to bring another one. This is the double VHS version of Patton. And yeah. Patton on VHS, man. Jimmy, All Is By My Side. Andre Benjamin plays Jimi Hendrix, I guess, in this film. I've never even heard of this. It looks like he plays the part pretty well. I think I'll probably end up bringing this to the shop because I don't really like these kind of movies. Biopics, as they say. Here we have... Oh, let's see. Here we have, I picked these up for the collection because I have a really beautiful, nice hardback trilogy box set of Lord of the Rings, and I really don't want to read those if I don't have to. I want to keep those as a collector's piece. But we have The Two Towers, Fellowship of the Ring, and Return of the King. Of course, I've been in a very heavy fantasy mood. I'm halfway through the Harry Potter movies. I've been watching the Chronicles of Narnia movies, which I fell in love with. The first two, I think, are wonderful and beautiful. And they don't make films like that anymore. I just started watching this last night, which I haven't seen for probably 10 or 15 years. I watched this when it first syndicated in the year 2000. It was a huge deal back then, and people loved it. It won a whole bunch of awards and everything. And, yeah, so this is... I do want to reread... I've read the first two books, Two Towers and Fellowship, but I've never read Return of the King, believe it or not. So this will give me a lightweight way to do so. Next up, we have Silence of the Lambs. I should have checked the condition on these a little bit more. I think I probably would have still picked them up, but this one's a little rough. Silence of the Lambs. Here we have Chaplin. That's a cool one to see with Robert Downey Jr. as Charlie Chaplin. The Devil's Advocate. Taylor Hackford film with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, of course. It's a good film. I haven't seen it in a long time, though. This is some good stuff here. From the video bar, this was. This is Fright Night on VHS. So, that is awesome. I didn't even check to see what this was worth, but I'm assuming it's worth a bit because it's, well, Fright Night. It's a horror movie from the 80s on VHS. These always fetch a little bit. Here we have Tomorrow Never Dies Until You Stay. Sheryl Crow. I like that theme song quite a bit. Moonraker. I don't remember the theme song from Moonraker. But that's another VHS of 007. Here we have The Hobbit 2-disc special edition. I didn't actually check this one in the store. Rookie mistake. Luckily, everything is there and copacetic. And, might have to go check my rice in a second. Guys. Hey, Jolly Good, what's going on? Alright. Next up, we only have a few more left here, guys. I didn't even check these in the store, but Indiana Jones trilogy here, which is nice to see, and a nice little box set. This will sell no problem at the shop. No problem at all. Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I don't know what this is, but let's see. Just some piece of paper. All right. And yeah, pick this up for like $3 or something like that. So I think I'll be able to get at least... Oh, my sound's off. That's not good. Are you sure? It's not muted or anything like that. Can you guys hear me? No? Hello? Not anymore. Why? Okay, so it's back on, Lucy, is what you're saying? Can you guys hear me? Lucy said not anymore, but I'm not sure if that's in reference to Jolly Good. The sound is back. Okay, thank you so much for clarification there. So yeah, really nice box set of the Indiana Jones films here. And two more left, guys. We've got Darkman on VHS, which is nice. And last but maybe least, I'm not exactly sure, this one I picked up because I couldn't find if this ever came out on DVD or Blu-ray or anything like that. It's got Louis Mandylor, Lori Loughlin, and Daniel Benzali. I can recognize him, but I've never seen him. It's called Suckers, guys. Suckers. if you think they're lowlife scum when they're selling you a car, you should see them in their off hours. But that is Suckers. Again, I don't know anything about this film. It's from '01, and I couldn't find much information in terms of whether it's on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't think it is. So, that's that. Alright. Well, this was a short live stream. I apologize, guys. We'll be doing another one, obviously, soon. But I will talk about a couple of the films that I've been watching. So, I think I already put them back. But, so I rewatched the Narnia trilogy, guys. And what did you miss? I just did a whole pickup, unfortunately. I went through it pretty quickly because there's not much to say about these. A lot of these were going to the shop, but it's a pretty good VHS haul. But what I'll do for the next 5 minutes or so until I sign off and get some rest, because honestly I have a pretty bad headache right now. I just wanted to check in with you guys. The Chronicles of Narnia trilogy. So, when I was a young boy, I caught, when I was very young, at my grandmother's house after school one day, I caught the original Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe animated movie. It's like a 75-minute animated movie from the 70s, late 70s, and it absolutely swept me away with its whimsical and fantastical nature. The portal idea was really the one that transported me. I remember watching that and watching the kids, you know, go through the wardrobe, and the story is about kids who escape the war, and they escape World War II. They live in Britain, London, but they escape World War II when the bombings are happening, the Blitzkrieg, or the Luftwaffe bombings. And they retreat to this house in the countryside. They find this wardrobe, and the little girl Lucy goes into the wardrobe to hide, playing hide-and-go-seek, and she notices that there's a draft coming from behind her, and she keeps walking through the wardrobe. And what do you know? There's a whole nother world. It's a dimensional portal, essentially. It's called Portal Fantasy. And that absolutely swept me away as a kid. And I remember I had a wardrobe, a similar type of wardrobe in my home, or like a closet when I was growing up. And I went out, and I would go time and time again, just hoping that there would be a portal in my closet. Like all kids do, they imagine it's fantasy. And I would get my sister to come, and we'd pretend like we were in another dimension, and it was just so much fun. And the story really captured my imagination, and I've loved it ever since. But I remember watching the original trilogy, or the original film that Disney did back in '04, you know, off the coattails of the popularity of things like Harry Potter and The Lord of the Rings. The aughts were really the height, in my opinion, of the high fantasy, witches and wizards, sorcery, portal-like fantasy. And I really miss those types of films. I think a lot of those stories have retreated to television series at this point, and that's not really my medium. I would prefer a nice 2.5 hour, 3 hour fantasy film. Like, all the Harry Potter films are 2.5 hours long, and I'm really enjoying going through those. I just watched Goblet of Fire last night. But the first Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, has a very light-hearted, whimsical, almost feminine touch to it. And it really is beautiful. And it's nice to watch around this time of the year because it's snowy. When Lucy first makes her way into Narnia, it's snowing. She meets Tumnus, the satyr. I've always called nicknamed my brother Tumnus. I don't know, his name is Thomas, so I just call him Tumnus. And in the movie, he's played by James McAvoy in a really good role. I wish there was a bit more of Tumnus, but he's not in the movie as much as I believe he's in the novel. But with that said, you know, this is a land of talking creatures, and the White Witch, who's pure evil, and Aslan, who is kind of an allegory for Jesus in a lot of ways. He's resurrected. He helps fight battles, you know, in the name of good, in the name of good versus evil. Too many video games, jolly good. Yeah, I understand that. And the first film is just beautiful. It swept me away. It's slower. It takes its time. It's visually absolutely stunning. I mean, the cinematography combined with the music, the score is absolutely breathtaking and ethereal, and really sweeps you away to this land of Narnia. Now, the second film, Prince Caspian, has Ben Barnes playing playing Prince Caspian, who is the son of a king, or the nephew of a king, who is ruling like a totalitarian, almost feudal state. And it's much darker in tone. Both films are directed by a director named Andrew Adamson. He directed 4 fantasy films. The first 2 were Shrek 1 and 2, which are classic films. And then The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Prince Caspian. And then, for whatever reason, he was kind of booted out of Hollywood. I don't know if Prince Caspian failed or if it did well. I would imagine it failed, since they didn't allow him to keep making these movies. I would have loved to see a 6-7 movie series of these films directed by Andrew Adamson, who just really had a grasp for the world. And Prince Caspian, like I said, is just a beautiful... It's a dark and tragic, but beautifully shot and scored film that really more so delves into the loss of innocence that our characters have felt. Because what happens in Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe, they're actually in Narnia for like 30 years. And when they go back to the real world, they go back to being the instant that they left the real world and went into Narnia. And so it has this really poignant, forlorn feeling to it that is very nostalgic and very, C.S. Lewis in the beginning of the book, Chronicles, he has a little letter to his granddaughter Lucy, and it says something along the lines of, "You're probably too old now. I started this fairy tale when you were young so that you could read it, but you're probably too old now to enjoy it, but get a little bit older and there'll come a time where you enjoy fairy tales again." And I'm certainly at that age. I'm actually getting a little emotional thinking about it. I'm in my late 30s here, and there's something so magical about 20th century fantasy, high fantasy, things like Lord of the Rings and Narnia, the simplicity of good and evil. And, I'm very nostalgic for it. And it's wonderful to be going back and watching the films. I've got this great book here, which is a huge book. And it compiles all 7 Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe films, or books. The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. And I'm getting ready to read that soon. I might start it soon, because it's sexy and lighter read than 22, so I should be able to read both of those simultaneously. And I'm not sure what's going on with the stream today, guys. I'm sorry, the quality is awful. But I'll just end with saying The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader was the 3rd film in the series. They gave it to a new director, Michael Apted, who directed The World Is Not Enough, which is one of my favorite Bond movies. I know I'm in the minority on that, but I really, really enjoyed it. It's like top 10. And The Voyage of the Dawn Treader is a good movie. It doesn't quite retain the magic of the original 2, of the first 2, I should say. And you have this on DVD. Yeah, we'll definitely watch The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Prince Caspian first before you watch The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. They really screw up the chronology of the books a little bit, from what I understand. But this is like a seafaring adventure where the 2 of the kids, not all of the kids, but the 2 youngest, who aren't ready to leave Narnia yet, who keep getting called back to Narnia. Narnia acts as almost this way to learn and grow. And then once you've grown up enough and you're ready to take on the real world and try to provide some sort of magic in the real world, quote unquote, Narnia doesn't call you back anymore. And so it's got some poignancy toward the end of this film, which kind of closes out the trilogy. And it's just a shame that it had to close out here, because there's a bunch more books and I would have loved to see where it goes. The Dawn Treader has a young Will Poulter, who I thought was great. He's as Eustace. He's gets enchanted into a dragon at a certain point, and I thought those scenes were very sweet and heartfelt and poignant. And this thing that happened to him was awful at first, but it helped him grow and realize the error of his ways. And I just thought these movies were fantastic, and I can't recommend the first 2 enough, especially Prince Caspian. Like I said, there was a woman, I forget who it was, but she helped write the first film. And I have to be honest, I really think it shows. I don't want to sound like I'm typecasting here with a female writer having written a lighter, more feminine movie, but it is. It's not as warmongering. The violence isn't as pronounced. The next film, Prince Caspian, was written by a few guys, including Andrew Adamson, and it was bereft of that female touch. And I think that shift really spoke to the loss of innocence that our characters were feeling. And so it worked really well thematically, but I think it threw people off because the first one was so whimsical and the second one was so, it was brooding, it's dark, it's violent, it deals with real political issues, real political stakes, you know, are at play here. People have to lose their lives. Peter has to step up as a real leader, sort of like Atreides in Dune, who has to make decisions that may or may not be the most ethical. And Prince Caspian really delves into that. One thing that drove me crazy about this movie was they took away Ben Barnes' accent, Prince Caspian's accent. He had a Spanish, very clearly Spanish accent from Spain, and like old Spain. And they changed it and let him do his regular English accent. I was so confused by this, I had to look into it, and I read that Ben Barnes fought tooth and nail to retain the Spanish the Spanish language, or the accent, because it kind of separated the characters in interesting thematic ways. But he lost that battle and ended up just speaking with his regular accent, and I think that really bugged me. His character having a Spanish accent made him unique and made him stand out. But, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you for checking out this live stream. We did a whole bunch of VHSs. We went through them rather quickly. Let me see what we got here. Oh yeah, I will say I picked this up too. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. This is like I think a mini-series or a film that covers, I think it was an HBO film that covers the, you know, the massacre of Native Americans at Wounded Knee, which was a crazy historical ordeal carried out by, I believe, Andrew Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. General Custer. Yeah, I got to get my history right on that one. Oh, I'm thinking of the Trail of Tears. Yeah, I'm not sure if the two are related. I should brush up on my history. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for checking out this live stream. I'm going to get some rest and chill out today. It's my only day off, so we're going to do that. And I really appreciate all you guys coming out for this live stream. If you're watching it now, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you're watching it on the archive, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And I really appreciate all your support, and you guys will see me very soon. I've got some different ideas planned for next week if I can get it together and do them. I want to do live streams talking about specific years of cinema and kind of going over the films and talking to you guys about them, etc. So I really appreciate all you guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and want to see more live streams. Otherwise, I will see you all very, very soon. Since this stream is short, I'm going to go relax and make dinner when I get home. There you go. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Jolly good. Thank you, Lucy, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I will see you all next time. Bored Cyborg is out.